You put this in your hand and it feels like a solidly built tool. You know, the design of it was great. I mean, it's not too heavy.
Hey, what's up? Barnaby here. So you've got some ging, 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 ging chainsawing to do? Well, you won't be making that sound because this is the Works electric chainsaw, 16-inch bar, 14.5 amp, 3.5 horsepower motor. And what we like to do with tools like this is put them into the hands of guys like Brian and have you test them out for us. Put them into the real world of trimming whatever you were doing in your backyard. And I want to know, honestly, from you about its performance, its design, the quality of this, like do you think it's going to hold up, and then the value proposition, is it worth the money, and would you recommend that somebody buy this? So first of all, let's talk about you and where you're coming from as far as expertise. What do you do?
I'm a carpenter for Rockford Construction, West Michigan's largest general contractor specializing in new build and reconstruction of the commercial buildings.
Okay, but you were all about destruction with this, right?
I was.
Yeah, what were you doing?
I had a pretty big bush on the side of the house that needed to get trimmed up. It was 6-8 inches around at the base, and I dropped some dead limbs off the oak tree in the backyard.
Yeah. So you a chainsaw wielding man usually? Do you have some experience with the tool?
You know, I've used a lot of gas chainsaws in the past, and I had my doubts about the whole electric chainsaw thing, whether it would have the power of a gas or whatnot, and it cut through everything just like the gas one would, and I had no problems with anything I had to cut.
It didn't bug the neighbors.
No.
Right?
It's not as loud, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, you know, I grew up with electric, and I always wanted to use the gas, but I always found that electric does a great job. So it'd be interesting to now talk about the design of this, because, I mean, it's got some things here that you don't see on other chainsaws, right? So take me through it.
Well, first off, right out of the box, you just got this nice easy port for chain lube. You just pour it in there, and it's got a nice little viewing window on the side that tells you when you got enough in. You can just see it rise up.
And now, do you have to hit a button to auto feed it?
Nope, it just it does everything by itself.
Okay.
Oils the chain up as you're using it.
Sure.
It's got a tensioner knob right here.
Oh, really?
To take the chainsaw, to loosen the chain up, you just twist this knob. It's real easy.
Yeah.
Blade guard too, which is nice for storing. But as you twist this, it brings it in and makes it so you can get the chain off.
Oh, it beats trying to stick a screwdriver in there. And,
For sure.
Yeah.
And then to tighten it back up, obviously you just go back the other way till it's tight.
Yeah. How did it feel in your hands? Is it heavy?
You know, the design of it was great. I mean, it's not too heavy. Comparable to a gas chainsaw, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
It's got some nice safety features built into it too.
Yeah, talk about those.
You know, if you're cutting something and the blade catches and pulls forward and this pops back, it's going to shut the machine off instantly. It's got a trigger little lock button right here where you have to have this depressed in order to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got two safety functions. It won't run unless this is forward.
Right.
And that saves your hand from getting smashed into a tree or whatever.
Sure.
And it won't even turn on unless you got your hand back here on the trigger. So with the button pushed.
Okay. And on the tail end here, you know, it is interesting because as with all electric tools, there's that coupling, right? You put the two together and you hope they stay together, right? Did it stay together?
I always tie my cords off when I plug things in, but
So you don't bother snaking them through?
I don't. I just tie it like I would tie two extension cords together on a job site. But you know, I'm not a big fan of this whole system here either. If it had some kind of a coupling thing where you could just twist it or
twist
something.
lock.
Yeah, twist lock on the end would be nice. But
You know, it's funny, we hear that from a lot of tool testers when we do electric tools, and I just hope that engineers listen and they say, we can do that, because then suddenly it'll be across all electric tools.
yeah, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
I mean, it doesn't matter what you're using. If
Right.
if it had that feature on it, it would be awesome.
All right, quality then. You know, chainsaws, we men like to treat our tools rough when we're out there. It's like, brrr, and then you drop chainsaws usually, right? Do you think this is going to hold up over time?
I do. I mean, it's you put this in your hand and it feels like a solidly built tool. I haven't worked with a lot of the work stuff, but they got a pretty good reputation. So it's solidly built. In my opinion, it'll take the abuse that you give it.
Okay, so value proposition. You know, do you spend more money, get a bigger saw, thinking that you need a bigger saw, or is this enough saw to do homeowner stuff?
Well, I mean, it's got the 16-inch blade, so I mean, it's going to cut. I didn't try to cut down a bigger tree with it. I don't know how it would perform trying to cut down anything bigger than, you know, an 8-inch tree. For what it did, it didn't bog down, it didn't bind up or anything on an 8-inch tree. So I guess, you know, for it depends on how big of something you got to cut. I mean, if you're looking to trim up some branches off of trees or take down anything 8-10 inches around, this saw is great. And it's going to beat the price of a gas one. In my opinion, it'll perform just as well on those things.
Yeah, easier to start too.
Yeah, a lot easier to start.
All right. Hey, you know what? It's all about good information, putting tools into the hands of real people just like you, and say, hey, tell me about the experience so you, the tool buyer, can make a qualified decision on which tool is right for you.